Hi, I'm Alex First.
I'm Noah Zingarelli.
And this is Conscious Kitchen, where we teach you fun, delicious, and nutritious plant-based recipes. Today we're going to be making a Falafel Buddha Bowl. So Buddha Bowls are a really great staple to incorporate into your dinner or lunch rotation. They're super versatile, and once you get down the proper proportions and ingredients, it's really easy to swap out foods that you love and mix and match so that the whole family will enjoy. The base of your Buddha Bowl is always going to be a type of green. Today we're going to be using arugula, and then you move into your grain. So today we're going to work with quinoa. You top that with your protein, which will be our falafel. Throw in some extra veg and accoutrements and drizzle with a nice sauce, which today we're going to teach you how to make a tahini sauce. So let's get started with our grain.
Yeah. So before I start cooking the grain, I'm going to make the quick pickled red onions. So pickled red onions are a great topping for the Buddha Bowl. They're a beautiful color and they taste fantastic. So what I've done here is I've heated up my pickling liquid. It's pretty much ready. You want to get it to just before a boil. So it's equal parts white vinegar, water. I've added a little sugar and a little salt. So I'm going to add that now to the to the red onion. And once it's in the jar, you just want to let it sit for a little while, let it come up to room temperature. And the onions will start to turn a nice pink color.
Once the onions are at room temperature, they're ready to be used, or you can store them in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 2 weeks.
Okay, so we're going to set these aside and we're going to start to cook our quinoa. So quinoa is an ancient grain. It's also a complete protein containing all 9 essential amino acids. It's a great source of fiber as well, and it tastes delicious. So before we cook the quinoa, we're going to first toast it. So we toast the quinoa to bring out the nuttiness of the real nuttiness flavor in the quinoa. So I'm going to take just a little oil, add it to our pan, which is warming up.
So a lot of the times I see people cooking quinoa by just throwing the quinoa and the water into a pot and turning it on, and that results in a really bland, mushy dish, which we're not really about. So by toasting it, like Noah said, it's going to bring out a natural flavor, natural nuttiness, and also because you are already heating up the pot, by the time you add the liquid, it doesn't take very long for it to come up to a boil. So it results in a quicker cooking time, which leaves you with a bit more of a bite and texture to the quinoa.
Yeah. So I'm just coating the quinoa nicely in the oil right now. We're going to let it just get a little warmer. You want to just, once it's hot, you want to get it, cook just a couple minutes. You don't want to overcook it. You'll start to smell a nice aromatic smell from the quinoa. You might even hear the grains start to pop a little bit.
Turn brown.
Yeah, it'll start to change a little color. Once it's gotten to that point, then we'll add the liquid. And
say 2-to-1 ratio, so 2 parts liquid to 1 part quinoa. So we're just doing a cup of quinoa here, and we're using water. You can use stock. If you want to make a sweet quinoa dish, maybe for breakfast, you could use coconut milk or something like that, but this is just your basic quinoa recipe.
Yeah.
And once it comes up to a boil, what Noah is going to do is cover it, bring it down to a simmer, and let it go for about 10 minutes. All you really want is for the liquid to be fully absorbed, and then you'll turn it off the heat, but leave the lid on for another 10 minutes, and just kind of let it get nice and moist and soft. So while Noah is working on that.
Starting to smell, I can smell it.
Yeah.
It's good, yeah.
While Noah is working on that, I'm going to get us started on our falafel. So coming over here to our food processor, falafel is traditionally made with chickpeas. If you've never had falafel before, chef's kiss, so good. And this recipe was actually shared with me by my good friend Verid, and instead of chickpeas, we are using split green peas. So if you've never made falafel at home, one tip that I actually learned from Noah was that you don't ever want to use a cooked legume. So you're not going to purchase like cans of chickpeas that are already cooked because they're too wet, right? That's going to result in not the right texture. It'll be too hard to cook. So what you're going to do is soak your legumes overnight or for at least 3 hours. So we soaked these beans overnight. This was just a cup of split green peas. A lot of liquid when you're soaking them because they're going to kind of slurp it up and double in size. And so let's first talk about mise en place. If you see here, a little close up, I have all of my ingredients right here for our falafel. See, that pan is nice and hot. So if you've never heard the term mise en place, it's a French term that means to put in place. So if you're somebody who's not comfortable in the kitchen, the best advice I can give you is to really set yourself up for success. So first and foremost, you always want to read a recipe through in its entirety, because if there's a step like soaking your beans overnight, or maybe, there's an ingredient that you're not sure if you have, you don't want to get halfway through the recipe and realize you can't finish. So always read your recipe. And then mise en place, to put in place, right? So as you can see, I have gathered all of my ingredients, but not just my ingredients, I also have my equipment. So we're going to be working with a food processor. Once we start to cook the falafel, I have my pan ready, lined with a paper towel. I have all the little offset spatula and scooper, all the tools that I'm gonna need. So we're gonna get started by just adding everything into our food processor. Our split green peas are the base of the falafel. And then we have some ginger, just chopped up ginger, some garlic, right? We're just flavoring it now. A chopped up jalapeno for a little kick, some chopped onion, and our spices, which are coriander, cumin, and mustard seed. So we're gonna throw those in there. And then this is some chickpea flour, which we might not actually need. We're also gonna add a nice bit of cilantro. So we'll throw that in here. Right, and as we start to blend this, we don't want to completely pulverize it and turn it into a paste. We're just bringing it to combine and make sure that the green split peas are broken down. So I'm going to pulse it a little bit. So let this go for a little bit here. And then I'm going to stop and use my rubber spatula to scrape down the edges to make sure that everything, oh my gosh, it already smells so fresh. Everything is being incorporated. Also, before I forget, we're gonna add a nice pinch of salt and some cracked black pepper, as much or as little as you like. We'll give this another blend. Let me turn my pan on. All right, that is looking good to me. I'm gonna scrape down my edges one more time. And then from here, I'm gonna use my scoop. Investing in the proper kitchen utensils is a game changer. This is so good for scooping out cookies or protein balls or falafel. It kind of keeps things a little less messy, and it also ensures that everything is the same size, which results in everything cooking evenly. So I'm gonna start to scoop these out and just portion them. I have a silpat here on half of my sheet tray. And I've got my skillet heating up with grapeseed oil. We're using grapeseed oil today because it has a high smoking point. So when you're pan frying, if you've ever fried something and it gets really smoky or the oil seems to burn, find out what the smoking temperature is. You want a high smoking point, and that's gonna help you have a cleaner fry. So as I am portioning out our falafel here, Noah, why don't you tell us a bit about this food processor?
So that food processor is at least 30 years old. And,
like me.
And it's worthwhile investing in good kitchen equipment because you'll have it forever. We've made a lot of great meals with that, and it just pays to invest in quality equipment for your kitchen. And it really elevates your cooking game because you can do a lot more with the right tools.
Right. So I'm actually gonna add a little bit of that chickpea flour that I mentioned. It's a little wet, so this is just gonna help to bind it a bit more.
Our quinoa is boiling, so I'm gonna turn down the heat. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Okay, also our pickled onions are getting a nice pink color. You can see they're really starting to get a nice soft pickling going on here.
Nice soft pickling. So I just have a few of these here. I like to portion them out a few at a time. and then just form them into little patties. It's okay if they are falling apart. Again, you can always add more or less flour if you need, but I don't like to make them too dense. We want them to have a nice texture once they're pan fried. So our pan is heating up with the grapeseed oil on medium heat. We have a nice large skillet here because we don't want to overcrowd our pan. So while I am forming these, Noah is gonna start to make our tahini sauce. So what is tahini?
All right, so tahini is a sesame paste. It's basically just ground up sesame. It's absolutely delicious. So you can get this at any supermarket. And what I'm gonna do is take the tahini as a base. I'm gonna add a little bit of water. And I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me come in here. So I'm gonna start to whisk it. And it doesn't look like it's incorporating yet, but just keep whisking it together with the water.
Trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process. See, it's already thickening up. I'm gonna add a little more water, but not too much, because then I'm gonna add, once this is mixed well, I'm gonna add a little lemon juice. I'm gonna shave some garlic in there, some fresh garlic, and salt.
So simple.
So simple. So I'm gonna just start whisking this, keep whisking this over here. And
All right, let's check our oil. Oh yeah, got a nice sizzle. So again, I'm gonna drop a few of these in. I have about a ½ inch of oil in the pan right now. Doesn't have to be perfect, the shape that is. All right, if you are somebody who's a little intimidated in the kitchen, let this be your reminder that you're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to get messy. You're supposed to mess up. Right? The only way that you're going to figure out the foods that you like is if you get in there and try something new. So again, I'm not overcrowding the pan. We're going to cook these little falafel patties about a minute or two on each side. I might even lower this heat a bit so that they don't cook too fast. You can already see some nice browning on the edges here.
so I've just got a little grater that I use to grate the garlic into the sauce here. I'm just using 1 clove. I mean, that's probably plenty for us. We're just making enough for the 2 of us. So once that's in, I'm gonna add a little salt. Our sauce is looking good, nice and creamy. Everything is incorporating well.
And again, for these Buddha bowls, this is where you can start to get really creative if you like a barbecue sauce or a green goddess sauce or a sweet Thai chili sauce. Like, you can change one element of the bowl and then you have a brand new dish. So it's great to get a couple of your favorite sauces, a couple of your favorite proteins and grains, and just start to mix and match and have fun. As you can see, these falafel are already shaping up nicely. They smell amazing.
Yeah.
Good.
Need a little more lemon. And another pinch of salt.
Those onions look great.
Yeah, I love the pink color in there.
Our first falafel's already done. So simple. I'm gonna move some of these closer to the center of the pan. That seems to be where the action's happening.
All right, I think we're good.
So what else are we gonna be putting in our Buddha bowls today?
All right, so we're gonna add some nice toppings. We've got some cut up cucumbers, we've got some chopped tomatoes, Kalamata olives, which we absolutely love, and we're gonna do it on a bed of arugula greens.
You can see that our quinoa
Yeah,
is
quinoa's
steaming.
starting to steam. It's a good sign. We've got
Yes.
about 5 minutes left before we check that, make sure all the water is drained.
Right? You can also make this this falafel mixture, keep it in an airtight container up in the fridge for about a week or so. You don't have to portion them all out at once. You can. They keep really well in the freezer. They keep really well in the fridge. But this is an easy way. You can make like a larger portion, make kind of a patty, throw it in a wrap, throw it in a bowl. Oh yeah, these are looking gorgeous. Do you remember the first time you ever had falafel?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I can't say honestly that I do, but I'm sure it was like probably in college.
Yeah,
I don't think I ever had seen a falafel before I went to college.
yeah, I think same for me, but
Yeah.
this is definitely like my favorite flavor
Yeah.
profile.
Yeah. I love this recipe, and having the green lentils is a whole new experience because I've always just, I think, had it with chickpeas.
I've had really good falafel made from chickpeas like out, but every time I try to make it at home, it really does not hold together.
Yeah.
So this recipe has been key.
Yeah, it really makes a difference starting with dried beans and just soaking them and not using cooked beans. It really helps keep it all together. And you've got a nice, light, fluffy falafel. You don't have, it's not mushy. It's, it's not like a bean meatball or something.
Right. And split green peas is high in protein, so we have protein in here. There's protein in the tahini as well as the quinoa.
Yep.
So this is a well-balanced, fibrous, delicious, nutritious meal that I'm sure the whole family will love.
Yes.
So these are looking good.
Okay, got a few more minutes to check the quinoa.
All right. So why don't we start to pull out our bowls?
Yeah, so we've got our bowls here. We've laid the base of arugula. You can see that. Those
Right,
here.
and you can swap this out for any green. You can do steamed broccolini, you can do romaine lettuce, you can do sauteed spinach, like whatever you fancy. This is also a great way to clean out your fridge. When you have half a random head of cabbage in the back of the vegetable drawer, if you have just some random things that need to go, this is a good way to use them up. All right, why don't we check that quinoa?
All right. Oh, yeah, still needs a little more time. It's quite a bit of liquid there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep making some of these falafel here. And Noah's gonna start to fill up the bowls with everything except the quinoa.
Right. So Alex, you like your bowls sort of everything spaced apart a little bit.
I do. I'm one of those people that really likes aesthetically pleasing food.
Yeah.
And I like seeing all the bright colors, all the different shapes and textures, kind of separated. I don't mind if my food touches. Like I really like to just see it and then I mix everything together.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna have to do some tomatoes over here. I like the aesthetic too, and I also don't mind just like throwing it all in the bowl, mixing it up, and going for it. But again, it's like one of those things you can do your own preference with it.
If you have a full household with kids and spouses and lots of family members, this is a great way to get people involved with the cooking process and what they're eating, and also make sure that everybody gets something they like.
Right.
You don't have to use every single ingredient that's offered. You can pick and choose.
And it's nice because you can prep all this and have it just on hand. So if you're prepping a few different things here, and you've got a bunch of meals for the week.
Exactly.
Very easy to throw together.
The key with meal prep, anytime you're prepping food, just make a little extra. And then you've got lunch for the next day, you've got leftovers for dinner.
And we're an olive family. We love olives. I know some people don't, which, okay.
Makes me giggle.
I don't understand it, but that's fine. So we like to load ours up with olives here. Okay, that quinoa is going. I'm gonna put this nice cucumber here.
Beautiful. I'm gonna come in and add a few of these
All right.
falafel.
Okay, we're at the 10-minute mark with this. I'm gonna check the quinoa. We're getting there. We still
We're
got some
getting
liquid.
there.
Okay, so we are just waiting on the quinoa. We're gonna put the tahini on once that's set. And we're gonna eat.
You wanna try a
Smells so good.
falafel?
Yeah, let's try one. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mmm,
Oh,
you hear that crunch? Mmm. And the difference with the grapeseed oil too, nice. It doesn't taste oily, right?
Yeah.
Olive oil, coconut oil is like really gonna saturate, where this just like does its job and cooks the falafel.
Yeah, that's outstanding.
I know.
Incredible flavor.
The thing about plant-based food that I find is that plants taste delicious. Every plant has its own unique flavor, and when you are eating foods that are fresh and not highly processed, your palate can really start to appreciate those flavors. So, you know, we didn't put much into this falafel mixture. The base was the split green peas, and then we just added some aromatics, some spices, some herbs, and you got this amazing, delicious dish.
Yeah. And it's budget friendly. It's very inexpensive. All these ingredients didn't cost a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got super fresh food. It's delicious.
I think the most expensive thing was the olives.
Yeah, probably, yeah. But like spending good money on equipment, we like good olives too.
Yeah. So good.
All right, we are moments away from our quinoa debut. I don't think we're gonna have time to let it sit, but
That's okay.
Yeah.
We'll show you guys what it should look like.
Mhm.
Our quinoa needs a little extra time, but we're just gonna show you what it would look like in the bowl. It's basically there.
Yeah.
We just would want our liquid to be a little bit more absorbed, but it has popped, if you can see. It doesn't look just like the solid pearl anymore. There's this sort of ring around it, and that's exactly what we want. So this is not ideal. Again, we would want a little bit more or all of the liquid to be absorbed, but it is fully cooked. So we'll add a little bit into our bowls, top with our beautiful pink pickled onions. Let this continue to go.
Just take that off, yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna drop a few onions on here.
So pretty.
We love the pickled onions too, so. Pickled onions are great to throw in a sandwich as well as salads.
Avocado toast in the morning.
Oh yeah, so many uses.
Right into a salad.
We usually have at least one jar of this in our refrigerator.
At all times. That's beautiful.
Yeah, okay,
I'm gonna add some tahini and we are good to go.
all right.
This is like my ideal lunch right here. Let's get a nice close-up of this here.
Yeah.
Beautiful bowl. Adding our tahini. For you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yum.
I'm gonna turn this pan off real quick and we'll give her a taste.
Fork for you.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Woo, cheers.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Cheers. Get a
Mm.
little bit of everything in here.
Yeah, we're mixing it now. Gotta get a piece of falafel, come on.
Oh my god. It's balanced. It's briny.
Yeah.
It's fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So many different textures. This is exactly what we're looking for. We're hoping that you make this at home. We shared the recipe with you guys, and we're looking forward to seeing you again on our next episode. Thank you for joining Conscious Kitchen. Again, I'm Alex First,
I'm Noah Zingarelli.
and we'll see you next time.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you.